Coming up in news tonight.
The opposition leader calls for a committee to monitor hurricane relief efforts. That story straight ahead.
And could a national lottery be a way to fund hurricane relief efforts? And Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller says the former Bahamas Electricity Corporation is to blame for the pace of power restoration. Plus,
the F&M deputy leader weighs in on the government's response to Sarkis Ismailian's recent offer to buy back Baha Mar. That story straight ahead.
Welcome to our news. I'm Dana Smith. Thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight. On the heels of the announcement that government intends to borrow up to $150 million for hurricane relief efforts, opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis is calling for a committee to monitor how that money is being spent. Our Jasmine Brown has the details in this report.
That's right, Dana. Minnis says the government has to be held accountable when it comes to how that money will be spent.
So when you're borrowing, we would like to see some form of reconstructive committee with oversight to whatever funds there are, and they have available to them an independent tenders board that would be totally transparent, who is not concerned with whether you are PLP or F&M, and that reconstructive committee who has oversight would report to the Bahamian populace on a regular basis so that they would know how the monies are spent.
In Parliament yesterday, the government brought a resolution to borrow up to $150 million to help cover the cost of relief efforts following hurricanes Matthew and Joaquin. Minnis acknowledged that the country needed assistance, but questioned the CHRISTIE administration's ability to properly manage borrowed money.
So why is he talking about that 4 years later? What happened for the first 4 years? You allow efficiency just to blow out of the window, you ignore it, but now that you're in a crisis and you're coming near an election, you're now talking about improving efficiency. If they couldn't do it 4 years ago, for 4.5 years, you think they can do it now? A leopard don't change its skin or its color overnight.
According to Prime Minister Perry Christie, the damage caused by both hurricanes is estimated at $800 million. Minnis says due to the mass devastation, it's clear that there is still a lot of work to be done. And while he has been critical of the government's response in the days after Matthew ravaged parts of the country, he says moving forward, the CHRISTIE administration needs a more organized approach.
So that they would know how the monies are spent. Not only that, they must come out with a plan how the money is going to spend over a 2 or 3 year period. If this government believes that they can fix that overnight, they better wake up. He must think of the Marshall Plan.
Now, Minnis says the F&M will keep a close eye on the government as it continues its hurricane relief and recovery. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown. Back to you, Dana.
Well, Prime Minister Perry Christie assured in the House of Assembly today there will be a high level of accountability associated with that $150 million loan. Christie said much like how the government handles its fiscal budgets, the money borrowed for hurricane recovery will be well accounted for, and the Auditor General will be able to access the money trails.
The level of accountability with respect to this $150 million will be the same as our responsibility in the budget. A line item would be created with $150 million and go from year to year with the expenditure. You spoke of timelines. But we will have to account, as we have to do.
Well, with hurricane damage estimates totaling more than $500 million, could a national lottery be a way to help fund hurricane relief efforts? Tourism Minister OBIE WILCHCOMBE suggested as much in the House of Assembly today.
I heard the member for Charlotte speak last evening. The member spoke about the gaming houses, and he talked about the possibility of a lottery toward assisting in situations like this. The member should know that I'm supportive of what he's saying, because we are giving thought to lotteries in the future. and we're giving thought to the possibility of how it could work.
Fort Charlotte MP and former Gaming Board Chairman Dr. Andre Rollins raised the idea in the House of Assembly last night. This despite voters rejecting the establishment of a national lottery in that 2013 gambling referendum. But WILCHCOMBE said the government is considering the idea, noting a national lottery could contribute to national development.
Should it be a freestanding? Should it be government? Should it be given to the gaming houses as is now and let them run it? Should we put the taxes up and let them pay a 17 to 18% tax? All these things are being considered because the truth is many countries in the world are now using the lottery for sport development, for educational development. Culture. That's a reality, and cultural development. It's a reality.
However, not everyone is on board with the idea. Cabinet Minister and Hurricane Relief Coordinator Shane Gibson said he doesn't think it's a good idea. He made the case while hitting back at those who believe government is over-involved in relief efforts, and it's the private sector that should lead the charge.
Why should we hide our head but put in a national lottery when we get to sit back and reap rewards from what's happening right now, Mr. Speaker? I'm not one of those who support that. We are saying get out of the business, get out of the private sector business, let the private sector run it. Now they're saying, no, it's convenient now, you run a national lottery. Well, aren't you in the papers every day, in the newspaper every day, complaining on the radio that you want smaller government? That the government should get out of business and let the private sector do it? Mr. Speaker, they got to decide what it is they want.
In January 2013, the majority of voters said no to the establishment of a national lottery and the regulation of the web shop industry by way of a referendum. The following year, however, government announced its intention to legalize web shops anyway. At the time, WILCHCOMBE said although a national lottery wasn't on the government's radar, he wouldn't rule it out in the future. Well, Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller is calling the power restoration exercise on New Providence a disgrace. Some residents in New Providence are experiencing their 17th day with no electricity. And according to Miller, he has never seen anything like this in his life. GIORGIO STURRUP reports.
Former chairman of the Bahamas Electricity Corporation, Leslie Miller, says this is the first time in over 50 years that he has witnessed foreigners being brought in to help with restoration efforts, and he hopes that it is the last time. Miller says at this point the blame is on those doing the work, as he expressed that the pace workers are moving at is absolutely too slow.
I said BEC. They're the people who do the work. They're the people who did what was supposed to be done. You know, this 17-day outage is an utter disgrace, in my opinion. You know, when we had the last hurricane here in New Providence, about 3 years ago, first of all, Mr. Kevin Basin, who was the then general manager, manned that operation room that we had upstairs. All of us was in there together. And within 7 to 10 days, if you could remember, most people was back home.
In a recent press release, BPL says New Providence is now 90% restored and North and Central Andrews are now 70% restored. BPL CEO Pamela Hill said the company has yet to come up with any compensation ideas for consumers, but according to Miller, when he called the shot, special concessions were the first thing they thought of.
And Hill is only a figurehead. She's only here because of the color of her skin. She's from Jamaica, and she's here because this happened to be a black country, so they decided, you know, let's send her one there who looks like them. She doesn't make the final decision. Okay? Power secure on those who makes the decision. That's why they're here. We told Bahamians they didn't have to pay their bills for the next month or two to enable them to catch themselves. And then after that, you had 6 months to bring your bills back up to date, which they did.
Miller said there is a team of local workers with bucket trucks that he and his team called on when additional help was needed. But now he is amazed that foreigners are being brought in to help an island as small as New Providence, and he wonders what the price tag will be.
Because we have 30 trucks available to us in New Providence that we always will get when the hurricane comes. We also get all of our workers who were there before doing T&D to come in and assist us, and of course the local contractors that we have from time to time assisting us. So this operation is very slow. To me, it is a money-making machine. They bought their machines in, they bought, I think, 35 of their fellas in. Only God knows what it's going to cost this country.
Reporting for our news, I'm GIORGIO STURRUP.
And other news tonight, Free National Movement Deputy Leader Peter TURNQUEST says it's unfortunate the government and the Export-Import Bank of China have decided to move forward with plans to complete the stalled project at Baha Mar without original developer Sarkis Ismirlian. TURNQUEST said the government should have at least given Ismirlian an opportunity to see his vision for the resort come to life before choosing another buyer. Simone Davis reports.
While the Christie administration announced that it would not help Ismerlian after he extended an offer to reacquire Baha Mar, others are saying Ismerlian should have been acknowledged and given a chance. FNM Deputy Leader Peter TURNQUEST is the latest to defend Ismerlian, suggesting that the government should not have pushed him aside when he made that offer.
It is unfortunate because, again, I think as we've been on the record saying from the beginning, that having conceived this vision for Baha Mar, that Mr. Ismerlian would have been the most natural person to see it through. And I believe that we ought to have given him every possible opportunity to make that happen.
Last week, Ismerlian revealed that he made an offer to purchase the stalled $3.5 billion resort at a price in excess of the current disclosed bid. However, earlier this week, the Office of the Prime Minister confirmed that the new owner of Baha Mar is Perfect Luck Holdings Limited. However, the Christie administration did not reveal the owners of that company.
TURNQUEST says he believes that Ismerlian should have been facilitated more, given all that he's put into the resort, adding that he finds it admirable that Ismerlian wanted to finish what he started.
I think it's admirable that he still has the interest, given all that has happened, to complete this project. I think it is a credit to him. Unfortunately, I believe that this is pretty much academic at this point. I believe that the government has already made its mind up as to the way and the direction it wants to go, and I believe that the Ex-Im Bank has already made up its mind as to the direction that they want to go, and that does not seem to include Mr. Ismerlian.
TURNQUEST also said, though it is an unfortunate situation in his opinion, his hope is that the new company and the Christie administration operates in the best interest of the Bahamian people.
I think at the end of the day, hopefully the owners now, I guess, of the property, because it's now out of receivership and into another company, hopefully they will be able to complete the construction and be able to sell it or to operate the property to the level and satisfaction of the Bahamian people as was expected with the original developer.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Simone Davis.
When Our News comes back, Port Lucaya is on the rebound. The Island Luck Cares Foundation is helping women get tested for breast cancer, and that garbage at Arwat Key has finally been collected. Stay with us.